Okay, so here we are at the Chimney Tops. This is the area where one of the fires started. It's kind of hard to see, but you can see some char up there, up and around on the ground of the chimneys. That same thing you can kind of see over in here a little bit. Just the black ground. I mean, you can see some charred trees kind of up in like this region right here. Okay, in a lot of that area. But most of it, truthfully, the trees are still standing. It looked like mostly ground fires in this region. If we look back over here in the back, I mean, you can smell the ash and you can smell everything. But this is pretty representative of what it looks like around here. It's actually kind of interesting because you can see the ground and the rocks better because there's no vegetation. So up here you see maybe some trees with some char on them and different things in this area, but this is kind of what the fire in the burn area looks like. It's just the ground and everything is black and ash in this area. There was no massive major tree loss. It looked like mostly ground fires to take all that vegetation off. This is just downhill from the chimney pullouts. So this is, like I said, a continuation of the fire. Trees are still looking okay. It'd be interesting to see how they leaf out or don't leaf out, but this is just that ground cover gone. See maybe some char marks up the trees and some that they lost down in this region. I think everything should come back pretty good. Be interesting to see how the ground cover takes off and what comes back. Could be some interesting wildflowers and such around here. So we're just uphill of the hairpin turn. Chimney Tops rest area or picnic area. See, it didn't kind of reach down into here. Although there's a lot of burn on Mount LeConte. You can see it at the overlook. So this is looking okay through here. The LeConte Overlook, we're back into some burn areas. You can see over that mountain over there is basically charred and black. Right there. No, keep going. But down in there, up there on the hill. Then we get back to a zone that's okay again. On this side of the road, but on that side of the road, we get some burnt down there. Some charred trees. And looks like kind of went up in here. And it's still down on the right. There's still fire. But looks like not all of it. I mean, looked like that must have been mostly ground fire because you got some charred trees in there, but you also got some vegetation, so it was real hit or miss. They got the grass replanted right away for erosion control. Some burnt rhododendrons over there. Yeah, this was the part that was on fire. I remember that. Closed down. Some char.
All was mostly ground fires. Not a lot of it was burned up.
No, looks like mostly pretty low ground fires. Might have climbed a couple trees. Joe made an interesting comment earlier. It looked like maybe a lot of the vines. You know, some of the vines got lit, and then the traveled up the tree. The fire did. And that's what happened on some of these trees, because most of them are unaffected up high. This is the overlook, Joe. Alright. So we're coming into Campbell Overlook. Campbell Overlook. If you look over there to the right, you'll see the real burn areas. You'll see some burn areas up on LeConte, on the ridge over here to the left, the top, and some of the other things are, trying to get it to good exposure. So some of the other things you can see over there is burnt, those black areas. Up on LeConte, you can see a spot, it's burnt. And then over here, that burned pretty good, it looked like. You know, down here it looks to be okay, down by the river. And then if you pan around, all this behind was affected in different areas. You see a little bit of green up there from rhododendrons, but the bottom half of the rhododendrons are brown. And some of them are gone. They're brown or succumb to the heat. You see some char over there, and this hill behind me is basically sterile. Well, that's obnoxious. This ground back here is basically sterile and completely burnt down to nothing. As well, down in this region, looks like it was kind of hit and miss over here, because you see some moss in some areas, and then other areas is not a leaf or anything in sight. So that is the report from up in this region for the fire. We are at the first pull off of the Gatlinburg Bypass coming from the park. If you look down here, you can see this stuff all down here was on fire. This looks like a lot of brush that lit, and it looks like they cut it down. Over here on the mountain, see if I can brighten that puppy up. That mountain in front of us looks like it was completely on fire. Everything looks black on the soil. There's Gatlinburg in there. And over in here, on the upper side of the road, it looks like this was also on fire as well. All up in that region. Looks like they're trying to plant a lot of grass for erosion control when they can, but that was all on fire as well. Okay, here's the view of downtown Gatlinburg. As you can see, the Park Vista is still there. It didn't burn to the ground. If you look over the mountain, kind of equal in height, and just below to the Park Vista over there, that was all on fire. You see some dark spots up the hill on LeConte area. It's hard to tell whether those are pine tree areas or burn areas. Down here, as you can see, it was all on fire. This was on fire high up into the trees, because we got black trees in here all around this area. If we look back this way, this was very much on fire as well. And I believe it looks like up there, I don't know if you can see that really well, but those were some losses. Housing wise, I can see there's no roofs, and you can see there's no windows in there. So those places up there were affected. So yeah, that's where it's at. And there you go. That's what we see. She's still there though. Missing a few things, but still there. Okay, so I'm on the Gatlinburg Trail, just to give you some sort of idea here. This was all on fire. A lot of downed trees. Looks like they got them all down. Trail's open over here. So the Gatlinburg Trail in spots was on fire. See if we can get back and see towards Park Place. Yeah, the other side of the river, all of that was also on fire. A lot of down trees in there actually, so that was a pretty good raging fire. It's like here, it didn't reach here. Near the water, there's still leaves and such. But across the river, there's a lot of down black trees. So yeah, I can see, like over in this area here, there's a mix of some leaves, but most of this area has got blackened trees. So it was on fire right across the street from Park Place. And this is looking back towards the trail. I'm standing literally at the place where we look at the river here for Park Place condos. So here's the brick wall. Here's the embankment over here. Looks like, can't really tell on the right side if that's burnt. The island in the middle, charred, very charred. You kind of scroll over. This is where the other stream comes in. You look back in there, didn't reach right there. We got some moss and stuff. But back in there, it's black ground. So the fire got right up close to it. It looks like if we go down here a little further, this is this really cool berry tree we used to look at. Sorry for the walking. We have a completely burnt out log right over here. You see these rhododendrons? Made it. Right there, on fire. So that was a really close call of having this place not burned down. So there you go. There's your view, Dad. Yeah, that's ski mountain.
If you like that one, we got 4 more. If you didn't like it, we still got 4 more. Come back when there's 120 people on there, and we'll swing that one as well.
This is the road we were on right here. You can see it's all black.
Yeah, it's a little, the burning got a little bit higher down here. Some of them got all the way up.
That's
So it must have been
Ski Mountain Road down there. Those cars are on the bottom one.
That was that was pretty heavy duty. That YouTube video.
We are passing over the Gatlinburg Bypass, which can be accessed at either end of town. The bypass offers 2 scenic overlooks of the city of Gatlinburg. If you would like to drive to over Gatlinburg, turn right on Ski Mountain Road at traffic light number 10 and follow the double yellow line all the way to the top.